What's going on? I'm CJ Flemings, and you're watching Stingray Pause Play. Let's get into it.
I'm Zach Monson. Welcome back to a very special edition of Stingray Pause Play here in the Stingray Music offices with up-and-coming legend, CJ Flemings.
What's going on?
How are you doing, my boy?
How's it going, man? I'm good. Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you here, man.
I just gotta say, before we start, you're the guy here, Zach. You know what I'm saying? You're the guy.
Yeah, you're welcome back on the show anytime you want after
Thank
that.
you,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate that.
What was your life like as a kid? What was the family dynamic? What kind of student were you?
As a kid, I was very quiet, actually. You could say I was like I always kept to myself. Smart kid, friendly. I wasn't really amongst the popular kids or whatever, just really, my mom raised me to be very disciplined. So I just really was focused on, school and all that stuff when I was younger,
And your dad is a singer. He's a
Absolutely,
singer.
yeah.
He has a barbershop and he spent a lot of time in there. So how did that whole time in your life kind of help develop who you are now?
Well, my father owns a barbershop in Montreal. He used to take me in, I used to stay there all day on Saturdays because, I used to go to school, and when the weekends would come, no one's there to babysit. So my dad would take me at the local barbershop that he runs, and he would always be playing reggae there, and there's a whole bunch of customers coming in, so they get familiar with my face, and I learned a lot about culture just being there. You know what I'm saying? Like just the culture of Montreal and how diverse it is in the city, because there's a lot of people coming in, and yeah, it's cool.
What can you tell me about Billy Boyo and Bunny Wailer?
Billy Boyo, actually, that's Billy Boyo is a legend in my opinion. He, rest in peace to Billy Boyo, but he makes classic reggae music. He has a voice of a reggae legend. You know what I mean? He's actually one of my favorite reggae voices of all time. If you were to say, yeah, definitely.
And you've had this kind of reggae influence in your entire life. Can we see more of that coming through in the future, maybe?
Yeah, I'm definitely growing into it. Right now, I'm focusing on what I really do best, which is rap, hip hop. I'm trying to expand my skills in different genres and stuff like that. And reggae is one of them. I just feel I'm really comfortable with it, so I'm not tapping into it yet.
Yeah.
It's just more something that I use, or I should say I'll execute when I'm trying to have more fun.
Yeah.
You
You've
know what
got
I mean?
time, I feel bro. It's not like your career is going to be over tomorrow. You got time to play with music, I think, for a long time.
Definitely. Yeah, I got time. I've been doing this for a long time, though, so I feel it's only a matter of time before I'm really going to dive into all that stuff. But yeah, reggae is really something that I feel I want to touch on in my career,
When did you start writing verses? Because it's one thing from freestyling at a party. It's another thing to actually start trying to craft a song. So when did that start? Was it a poem? How did you start writing?
I remember moving into an apartment with my mother when I was 12 years old, and there wasn't much furniture in the apartment. You know what I mean? I had a room with just a computer screen on the floor, and a keyboard on the floor, mouse on the floor, speakers. Everything was on the floor, dude. And I was so bored. I was what am I gonna do with my time at 12 years old? So I was watching TV, and a T.I. verse came on. It was a song called Aina. And shout out to T.I. one time for that, because I don't know what I would do if it weren't for that one moment. I remember doing the whole cover of his verse, and I took off from there. I just liked my tone of voice, and started writing when I got more comfortable with it. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say it would be a poem. I remember Lil Wayne and Birdman had this song also called Pop Bottles.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I took that instrumental and as a kid I would write what I was accustomed to or whatever was around me at the time, or I guess what also inspired me. And that's how I started writing. Yeah.
We asked the last artist that we had in to ask you a question. The band was Half Moon Run, and the
Half Moon
question
Run.
for you is,
Hey, we're Half Moon Run, and our question for you is, how do you feel about your current plans for retirement?
You know what? I feel like I still haven't gotten there yet. But I do think about it.
yeah,
Yeah, I do think about it. I feel like I definitely do want to be involved in music still, you know, like later down the line. But also like branch off from it and do other business stuff and ventures and, you know, investments and stuff like that. So but I haven't really wrapped my head around it. I should say.
yeah. Again, you've got some time. I feel like
Yeah, definitely.
reggae and retirement are in your future. I promise you. I'm sure. The album is Mascara Tears, and I love that imagery of like a sadness that you can't hide. You know, it's like when you cry without mascara, you can kind of hide it. It's almost invisible, and with the mascara, it makes it literally written on your face. So,
Definitely.
what about that song and that concept made it the ideal title for your album?
I came up with the title a couple years back. I had a song called Mascara Tears, actually. I stashed the idea because I felt like it needed time to develop and I needed to live and just, you know, be able to experience other things. So I did that and few years went by and, you know, a few relationships happened and, you know, it kind of inspired me to get in my vulnerable spot and pick out and position myself to really deliver a proper album revolving around Mascara Tears. So, you know, it's really an idea I feel like about women and relationships and breakups, makeups and stuff like that. And yeah, man, just me also becoming the best version of myself, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
The productions across this album from start to finish are beautifully conceptualized. They are so well crafted. Working with the Juno Award winner Lance, obviously a buddy of yours now.
Yes, sir.
How did you guys build that together? Was it he made all the beats and you came on top? Was it a collaboration? How did you guys work together?
Well, shout out to Aiden one time. Aiden actually introduced me to Lance. We hopped on a call and I remember we like clicked right away. I was really excited to be with someone who was down to work and had the same work ethic as me. Lance works really hard in the studio, you know, so I got to give it up to him when it comes to production because he's a guy when it comes to quality control. And, you know, I had to just make sure he trusted me with my best performance and I put all my trust in him and that's how the album came about. But yeah, when we met, it took a while. You know, we did like, what, 3 months in the studio for us to really come up with the album. But a lot of back and forth. So like 3 months in the studio, but I would say like it took time for that to happen.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
so I would take trips here and there to Toronto, come back, go back again, you know, and yeah, man, like it was a bumpy ride, but like it had to happen that way for the album to come out, man.
Yeah. Well, it turned out exquisite.
Thank you.
Really, it's like
I appreciate
hip hop is
that.
not my wheelhouse of music, but man, there's something really emotionally captivating in the way that you speak and the way that your voice blends with the music. It's really nice.
Right. Thank you.
Super impressed. I know
Appreciate
that
it.
you've started kind of dabbling in the idea of producing your own music. So can we
have,
see
actually.
more CJ Fleming self-produced stuff in the near future?
That definitely will exclusively come out in the near future. I haven't decided how I'm gonna present it yet,
Yeah.
but I've been working a lot on production. Yes.
So how did you get it? Like, how did you fall into that? I mean, obviously it's something that you've got the writing part down. I can see why a natural evolution would be to there, but how did you start touching it? What are you using? How did
It
you
was
start?
shout out to my producer friends, I guess. People like Jason Kellner, Jay Sentry.
Oh, Jay
Chase.
Sentry, man.
Yeah,
One of my faves.
you know, these are just people that like I've been friends with for a while, and I just take after what my producer friends are doing, like really and truly. It's like also a very good inspiration for this is maybe Russ, Travis Scott, you know, guys who do it themselves and who are great performers. You know, like I've always been technical and like trying to figure out how to record myself. So I woke up one day and I was just like, let me try to make music, like tap into the production side of things. And
Yeah.
it finally, because I was very disciplined about it for a very long time. You know, I would just be like, I'm gonna be a writer. That's my main focus. You know, but I tapped out of that show. It wasn't very hard to tap out of it too. Yeah.
You seem incredibly disciplined. It seems like everything that you kind of set your mind to, you're just going for, man, and you seem to just be killing it. I can't wait to see what's coming in the future.
Thank you, man.
What was the easiest song to complete on the album from start to finish?
Probably the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the first song that Lance and I ever made.
Really?
And it was the only song that we didn't really correct. Because everything else was like we went back to and listened to it. But the intro, which is called Curtains, like Lance and I like first got into the studio and that was the first thing we made, you know, and like we didn't even touch it. Like we really like fell in love with what we did, you know.
It's a perfect intro to the album.
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
It's amazing how you can work so hard at music for so long, and sometimes you just meet the right person, you sit down, the first thing you do ends up being the first song on the album, man. You can't plan that if you tried, you know?
I haven't heard any stories like that either, but
man.
like it's like shoot me if I'm lying. You know? No, dead ass.
It's great, man. You guys are a good team. I can't wait to hear more. I'm so happy you took the time to come hang out, man.
Thank
we just
you.
love you over
and
here.
Once again, you're the man.
You were the man, CJ Flemings. You were the man. But you can say it as many times as you want. I'll still take it.
Got you.
You can hear CJ Flemings all over Stinger Music, like urban beats and alt rap essentials. Jump on the Stinger Music mobile app of the web player. Find the magnifying glass search icon. Type in CJ Flemings. That's 1M to find the entire list of music that we play on Stingray. See you next time, guys.